So, first things first, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dim Chanos, a very successful short seller who's been betting against Tesla for the better part of a decade, continuing to double down on his short position after having his, rear end absolutely ruined repeatedly, losing catastrophic amounts of money and continuing to double down on the claim that Tesla is just a car company. The stock's completely overvalued, the competition is coming, the competition is already here, it's way better than a Tesla, Elon Musk is a con man, blah, 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 blah. Well, folks, Dim Chanos, short seller who took on Enron, I guess he was right at least once, and Tesla to close hedge funds. Dim Chanos manages less than $200 million. I know there are some viewers watching this channel who personally have more assets than Dim was currently managing. Down from, here's the kicker, $6 billion in 2008. So here's what happened. Dim was right once. Dim got a reputation. He must be a genius. He was right once. Here's some money, Dim. Ends up managing over $6 billion back in 2008 and then spends the next almost decade, once Tesla had IPO'd, betting against the company and losing insane amounts of money and also having a lot of investors pull their capital and ends up at $200 million before closing the fund and handing money back to, quote, investors, aka people who trusted this guy. Not surprised. Kind of been predicting this for a number of years. Just saying, I feel sorry for the guy. He just doesn't get it. He's going to lose all his money. And here we are, shutting down his hedge funds. That's awkward, but entirely predictable. Remember, don't bet against Elon. But in Jim's defense, it's definitely true that Tesla is just a car company. So it's not his fault that he lost all this money trying to bet against Tesla stock. It's just that the stock market hasn't yet figured out that Tesla is just a car company. And eventually Jim will be right. Meanwhile, the hate stream media who, remember, hate you and hate humanity, also accurately known as the fake news, shout out to Orange Man Bad for that accurate description, this propaganda machine, are at it again, disseminating more lies, outright lies, attempting to slander Elon Musk, destroy his reputation, and obviously that would have nothing at all to do with the fact that he owns X and now people can freely share their thoughts, opinions, and ideas, which is a problem because the hate stream media wants to control the one true narrative, and there's the whole presidential election coming up, the what laptop, that whole thing. Covered this yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's video, I recommend watching that first for some context. But let's see what CNBS have to say, featuring Gary Black, who I'm going to guess, just wild guess here, probably doesn't have sand in his vagina, which is not something I could say for his buddy Ross Gerber, who clearly had a few beaches in his.
Joining us now is Gary Black, Future Fund Managing Partner. Gary, we've gone down this road in a different way in the past. I remember when we had a conversation just about the amount of time and effort he was spending on Twitter when he was acquiring the company and running it. Concerned you a bit at that point. How much does this concern you at this point with just what continue to be these decisions by him to engage on these controversial topics that seem to alienate a lot of people?
Well, look, we're investment managers and we get paid to find stocks that are going to triple over the next 5 years.
It's weird. Gary Black out of the gates seems to be pointing out that his job is to find stocks that are going to outperform over the next few years. Well, I haven't seen this clip yet, but I'm a reasonable gauge of a personality from a distance, and Gary Black has in the past proven himself to be fairly logical and reasonable, and most important of all, stoic. Perfect example of a rock, stable, consistent, unperturbable. Of course, he could embarrass me now, but I find that unlikely. Anyway, it's just interesting, isn't it? CNBS opening with a quote from another fake news source. A false quote, by the way. Fake news, literally lying, claiming anti-Semitic tweet from Elon Musk. And by the way, in fairness, David Faber, generally speaking, is pretty reasonable himself too, the anchor. And the first thing Gary has to say is, well, we're here to find great investments, drawing the conversation to the investment, at least initially. No signs of a tantrum yet.
And our view is, despite remarks like he made, which we don't like, and I can't, embrace what he said or even condone it at all. I think the stock is still a great stock because EV adoption today is 12 and it's going to go to 60 over the next 7 years. And Tesla right now has about 16% share of that EV space. And with Cybertruck, a refreshed Model 3, and most importantly, a $25,000 vehicle, we think it can still, grow its volumes 30 to 35% a year. As a growth manager, I cannot find growth stocks that have volume growth of 30 to 35% a year, earnings growth of 40% a year, trading at 40 times. So, the investment question we have to ask is, will this impact the brand? I don't know if it's anti-Semitic, what he said or not.
Well, allow me to help you out there, Gary. And again, if you guys didn't see yesterday's video, watch it first. Elon Musk calling out organizations, groups, communities, etc., who are spreading anti-white racism, saying that it needs to stop. That's not anti-Semitic. No matter how many headlines one will read in the fake news saying racism is bad, stop spreading racism, that's not anti-Semitic, despite the headlines you'll read in the fake news. And by the way, here's an interesting little piece of information for you folks. A great tell regarding somebody's character is how quickly they're willing to form a negative opinion on another human being, not through direct observation of that person's actions or words, but instead through having read headlines, unverified, not confirming what they've heard or read, just, oh, I saw a headline, that must be bad, will form negative opinions of others, hate on others, without actually having any source information upon which to base their judgment. Instead, having heard secondhand, thirdhand, rumours, headlines, I heard this, hearsay, innuendo. It is a terrible, terrible trait.
I don't know if that's true, but what I'm trying to figure out as an investor, is it going to impact the brand? Is it going to cause consumers, rather than think about charging, convenience, and safety, and performance, and the technology, are they going to be saying, hey, it's run by a CEO who, embraced a post that talked about, hatred of one group versus another.
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, I think consumers are going to evaluate the product on its merits and not on the CEO.
So you're not worried then, Gary? I mean, again, and by the way, I said this earlier, I know a number of people who are close to, or at least somewhat close to Musk, and, they don't think he's an anti-Semite. I don't.
I don't
but
either.
he does make these decisions, Gary, to engage in things. By the way, he encourages it, though, by choosing to either post or point to certain tweets and the like. But you don't seem to think it's going to matter in terms of people's willingness to embrace the brand.
I think at the end of the day, Tesla has a best-in-class product. They are the best at manufacturing. They can drive costs down the quickest. And look, they've shown an ability to figure out what consumers are going to want long before GM, Ford, Stellantis, and everybody else. And I think that's going to continue. I don't want to comment on whether his comment was anti-Semitic or not. I don't know if that's important, but I don't think the consumer at the end of the day is going to hold the CEO's comments in their, what I call a purchase decision of whether to buy a Tesla. I could be wrong, but that to me at the end of the day is what's the most important to think about.
So just to be clear, in my personal opinion, I don't think a single reasonable consumer gives a flying fuck what anyone has to say, what any CEO has to say. These are just the facts. And how many people have an iPhone yet simultaneously know that maybe some of the labour conditions involved in Apple's supply chain aren't perfect, yet you still use an iPhone? How many people are driving around VWs, Fords? Yeah, exactly. There is a very small but very vocal subset of people out there who need the approval of others. And if they happen to live in a bubble surrounded by narcissistic, psychopathic, sociopathic nutjobs, those whose primary fuel in life is hatred of whatever cause they need to hate to gain the approval of others, these emotional infants will scream from the rooftops that they will not support XYZ product or company because XYZ CEO said or did something apparently according to the media, and because the media told me that I have to hate them, I hate them, therefore please approve of me. Here's me publicly telling you that I'm a good person because I will not support this product or this company. These people are noisy, but in more ways than one, they don't matter. As I posted less than 2 weeks ago on X, since humans have massive negativity bias, one bad is about 10 times worse than one good. Those who need the approval of others use hating bad things as a shortcut for approval over supporting good things, because hate gives 10 times returns. The more desperate for approval, the stronger the hate for whatever is bad. So these are the folks that I refer to. Those who are desperate for the approval of others. They need approval of others. Often we'll use this shortcut. Elon bad, yeah, let me tweet about Elon bad. I need your approval. It's a shortcut and it's effective. And I do want to draw the distinction between hatred and criticism. These are entirely separate concepts. One, emotive. The other, logical. Criticizing bad ideas, bad actions, etc. is an entirely separate matter from hating. But of course, I don't need to explain that any further, do I? You all know, right? And a previous tweet all the way back in April this year, when it was still a tweet, the most dangerous human trait is the need to be approved of by others. always the provocateur. I encourage people to prove me wrong in the comments, and boy oh boy, did some people try. You guys should read the comments on this, some of them quite hilarious. So back to Gary, and to the point, I personally don't think that any comments from any CEO anywhere are going to really impact sales if a product's incredible, but some people might get the perception that's occurring if A, they live in a bubble, and or B, they're genuinely suffering from some form of delusion.
Well, the decision these days about whether to buy a Tesla or any EV seems to be more about price and or the charging network and how inconvenient it may be. I mean, there seems to be a growing consensus. Maybe that's not the right word, but at least concern that EV growth is slowing. You don't seem to share that concern.
The data doesn't support that, David. When you look at the data.
Oh my God, he just went there. Gary Black with some facts, facts that don't care about your feelings, data. AKA reality as opposed to emotions. See, David's literally talking about concerns, emotion, and Gary's like, well, reality doesn't actually support that. The data, the numbers. Gary's great. Again, zero emotion here. It's all about the facts. And by the way, I just have to point out, I'm recording this in late November 2023. And folks in the mainstream media, the fake news, the hate stream media and so on, are still generally asking questions, and most of them under the impression that, quote, demand for electric vehicles is slowing down, that the transition will take more time than people are expecting. And remember, everyone's underestimating how quickly it's actually going to happen. I just feel like this is like 1998 and the media's talking about how there are concerns about internet adoption, or it's going to slow down now. It's slowing down. Look, there was one quarter where there was slightly less of an increase than last quarter. Therefore, people don't really want the internet. It's not a disruptive technology. The internet's just a fad.
And, we publish it every quarter. You could see that in the third quarter, EV adoption globally is at 12%, and fourth quarter, it's growing nicely. So could you say the growth has slowed? Yeah, it's slowed, but it's not going down. And as long as you continue to see, as you've seen in Norway, as you've seen in the Netherlands, as you've seen in China, as long as EV adoption grows from, again, do the math, 12% globally to 60%, and that's our forecast, but others have forecasts that are similar, between now and 2030, you're going to get 35% volume growth. And then the question is, how much is pricing going to come down by? Cybertruck is going to be priced, and that's coming out, at the end of the month. That's going to be a $70,000 vehicle. So while I do think you're going to see some pressure on pricing, you're going to see some offsetting products like Cybertruck that are going to cause pricing to continue to move higher, average selling price. And I think that the big investment question is, have auto gross margins bottomed? They hit 16% in the third quarter because, as you know, they took pricing down. Have we seen the last set? And what we've seen the last couple of weeks is prices have actually started to go the other way. They've had 3 separate price hikes in China, and the rumor is that they're going to have another one next week. So as long as I believe that A, EV adoption can continue to grow from 12 to 60, which is what we're thinking, and B, the gross margins have bottomed, you want to be in this stock at 55 times earnings, putting up 40% earnings growth, regardless what Elon Musk is saying. I do think also that Elon's a smart guy. I've seen him in the past where he'll say something that, later he realizes not so smart, and he will delete his post. I would be surprised to see him not talk about this topic for a while, because he's got 120,000 people who work at Tesla who depend on the Tesla brand staying, the strongest in class. And I don't think he wants to hurt those 120,000 people if all of a sudden the consumer's saying, I'm not going to buy Tesla because the CEO is making dumb comments.
Not to rain on Gary's parade here, but I'm quite confident that Elon Musk is going to continue to call out organizations and groups who are pushing any form of racism whatsoever. I can't believe I'm having to... bro, it is such a bizarre world right now. Literally, here's what happened, right? Elon, racism is bad. Stop being racist. People, especially the fake news. Elon's a racist. Look, he said stop being racist. That's racist. Oh, man. Just remember... war is peace, ignorance is strength, and freedom is slavery. And now more from CNBS.
IBM announcing it has pulled advertising from X, or Twitter, after one of its ads ran next to content praising Adolf Hitler and Nazis. The move comes a day after X owner and Tesla CEO Elon Musk amplified a tweet about an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. And this isn't the first time Musk has...
So, a couple of things here. First of all, let's read. Backlash against Elon Musk. Anti-Semitic X post sparks outrage. By the way, I've yet to see a single instance at all in the fake news where this supposed anti-Semitic post has actually been shared and any context. No, they just continue to claim anti-Semitic Elon Musk. What are they talking about? Notice she also called it a conspiracy theory. What the fuck? Oh, that's right. That's how you slander somebody. conspiracy theorist, anti-Semitic, Nazi, racist, homophobe, misogynist, transphobe, and so on. Just throw the word out there. It must be true if you repeat it enough. It's a fact. I would hope by this stage, after almost 4 years on this channel, even the slowest of slow have finally realised why CNBS. This is really important to understand, and also it disturbs me. This is the problem. See, there are so many NPCs out there, part of the hive mind, who do not think for themselves. They have their beliefs installed in their small brains, yes, small brains, facts, by the media. If you have a small brain and you're an NPC and you're plugged into the hate stream media, you hear a headline, you read something, Elon Musk, anti-Semitic ex-post, Elon Musk must be anti-Semitic. Oh look, I saw the headline on 12 different networks today, it must be true. Idiots. Again, this is a propaganda machine. Evil. Again, the hate stream media hates you and hates humanity. Oh, and in totally unrelated matters, please don't go watch any of the tapes that have been released from January 6th. Wait, what?
Has found himself in hot water over anti-Semitic content. But he told our David Faber back in May, I'll say what I want to say, and if we lose money, so be it. X, for its part, says it has taken steps to improve its brand safety and suitability controls on the platform. Its head of business operations telling the Wall Street Journal that X is, quote, not intentionally placing a brand actively next to this type of content, nor is a brand actively trying to support this content with placement. Nonetheless, ad revenue has declined every month since Musk bought Twitter back in October of last year. According to ad analytics firm Guideline, revenues have fallen at least 55% year over year the past 13 months, with the steepest drop being a 78% decline last December. Joining me now to discuss what's next for Musk, Twitter, and the rest of his empire is Slow Ventures Sam Lessin and Brian Stelter, author of the new book, Network of Lies and a Vanity Fair special correspondent. It's good to have you guys both here.
Now hold up a second here. Why is Brian... Oh wait, Brian's here because he's got a new book to promote. I'm really puzzled right now. I'm not really, I'm just pretending I'm puzzled. What's going on here is Brian has a book to sell. Brian's also a member, a cog in the wheel, part of the fake news. It's at CNN, the crisis news network, for about 10 years. Wears his political biases on his sleeve, and now that he has a book to promote, he's nudged his friends in the fake news. Hey guys, I need you to help me sell copies of my book. So please, can I appear and talk about some controversial issues so that I can plug my book? Notice how he was introduced. Let's just listen to how he was introduced once again. You guys do understand how the cogs in the machine work, right? This whole thing's a big scam. Most of the guests you'll see in the finance media, in fact, I'd probably say 100% of them, have a vested interest. Now, in some cases, it's super obvious. And by the way, nothing wrong with this. This is how the media machine works. You've got a book to promote, a fund to promote, this, that, or the other. That's how you appear. There's a lot of people who pump stocks on CNBS as well, but it's just really weird that somebody who spent 10 years at the Crisis News Network, and remember, Elon bad, is now appearing on a segment on CNBS, just as his new books appeared out of absolutely nowhere. Seems weird to me. I don't know what he's going to say. But again, just listen to how he was introduced.
Joining me now to discuss what's next for Musk, Twitter, and the rest of his empire is Slow Ventures Sam Lessin and Brian Stelter, author of the new book, Network of Lies and a Vanity Fair special correspondent. It's good to have you guys both here. Sam, what's the thought in the Valley about all this?
I mean, isn't it kind of business as usual? Like, I think it's really disappointing to see these words from Musk. Musk has a history of saying some pretty outlandish and pretty awful things.
Yes, it's true. Once again, Elon Musk condemning racism and organizations pushing anti-white, anti-Asian racism. It's so disappointing, Elon. How dare you condemn racism? You racist. I just can't believe how many NPCs are out here, guys. Do any of these people have a fucking brain? Again, I mentioned, I've seen a ton of media coverage over this. Not a single person has actually explained exactly what was disappointing, what was outrageous, what was anti-Semitic. Nobody. They're just regurgitating the same headlines as if it's a reality. Oh, and remember, war is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength.
I think the reality is that he owns Twitter outright. And, the only thing that changes how Musk behaves is the price of Tesla stock. So,
Okay, sorry. I'm just going to say it. Dumb motherfucker confirmed. This is one of the all-time most idiotic things I've heard anybody say, and that is really saying something. He just implied that Elon Musk will change his behavior based on the price of Tesla stock. As in, what? If Tesla stock's lower than Musk would like, he'll stop saying things that cause people's butts to hurt. And what? Is it any wonder there are so many people in the general public who are so ill-informed about everything and everyone and have negative opinions about so many people? This is so detached from reality. It's just completely false. What's this guy talking about? Oh, wait, that's right. He's talking about whatever he needs to appear to pump his fund. Will we hear a single example? This is like the BBC NPC. Remember when Elon Musk was interviewing him and the dickhead from BBC was making all these false claims and Elon's like, one example, please. And the guy couldn't come up with same shit here, right? 0 examples. Just say something enough times and it must be true. We have 2 self-interested guests. Now, I haven't seen what Brian has to say yet, although I can probably guess. 2 self-interested guests promoting their own products, funds, books, whatever. And again, that's how the media works. Talking out of their asses. Again, I haven't seen what Brian's got to say, so give him the benefit of the doubt. But my guess is he's also going to be talking out of his ass. Spreading falsehoods for their own personal gain. Once more, the mainstream media hates you and hates humanity. What happened to the truth?
If people don't like it, they should sell Tesla stock. It's nice that IBM pulls, other people might pull, but he can afford to float this forever.
So, and I saw, Sam, your thoughts that, there's only a couple of ways to exert pressure here, and that is sell your Tesla. That's really the only publicly traded one. If you're an employee, you say then quit, even if you're part of the broader Musk empire. I mean, is the idea that everyone is feeling frustrated with his behavior and just can't seem to find a way to get him to stop it, even as it seems to be self-sabotage?
Yeah, I mean, the way I think about it is I actually am a huge freedom of speech believer. And I think a lot of the principles that Musk, kind of bought Twitter on, being like, this should be an open, free forum. People should say what they believe. I'm with him on all of that. I mean, part of what's frustrating about Musk is he's not totally wrong about everything.
Just a moment here. That's a weird thing to say. What's frustrating about Musk is that he's not totally wrong about everything. Why would it be frustrating? Unless, of course, Elon bad, which makes it awkward, because if Elon bad, but he's right about things, then that's awkward because Elon bad. Weird thing to say. And again, check this out, right? Another quote here, no context, no actual evidence of the actual supposed anti-Semitic comments, just another headline here. Really am exposing how the fake news hates you and hates humanity. On Musk's anti-Semitic comments, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequences of speech. So, sell your Tesla stock. So again, somebody claiming that Musk made anti-Semitic comments, no evidence of these comments. It's just,
Intended calculus there is you empower a voice who says some pretty terrible things all the time with very little sense of consequence.
Of course, we'll hear plenty of examples of these terrible things, right? Of course we won't. There are none.
It's good that he's so rich and powerful that he can't be swayed. It's bad that he's so rich and powerful that really nothing is going to affect how he then chooses to speak himself, other than, one, doing what public market people can do, which is don't own Tesla, right? That's the only thing he cares about that matters financially. Or two, if you are an employee, it used to be that Musk is not known as a great employer, but he had the coolest companies to work on. If you want to be in space, you work at SpaceX. If you want to work on electric cars, you worked at Tesla, no matter what, because that's where the mission was. But the world is changing. Those engineers have other options now they didn't have before, and they should take.
Fact check. Yeah, it's true. SpaceX is in big trouble now. Blue Origin are right on their tail with their own Starship. Oh wait, no, they're not. The competition's finally come from nowhere and caught up to and now exceeded Tesla, right? Oh wait, no. Again, this guy's just talking out of his ass.
Brian, let's bring you in here because I'm curious what you think are the ramifications both for Musk himself and the empire that he controls.
It's death by 1,000 cuts, at least reputational death by 1,000 cuts. If you weren't horrified by the last thing, you're going to be horrified by the next thing. That's the reality for Musk now in the court of public opinion. But he seems to only care what his far-right friends on X think. He doesn't seem to care about that.
Notice again the slander. Far right is anyone right of far left, which is almost everybody. Far right, obviously a pejorative term. The hilarity, right, is I've been getting this from day one on the channel. Apparently I'm a raging far-right lunatic conspiracy theorist. Why? Because I oppose fascist lockdowns. I support free speech. I'm anti-victim mentality. I'm anti-racist. Of course, this is from Brian Stelter, ex-Crisis News Network. P.S. Orange Man bad.
Wider audience. I think your banner a moment ago asked an interesting question. It says it right now. Can this platform ensure brand safety? And the answer is clearly no, absolutely not. And I think that has to be internalized still by some of these companies. Yes, IBM's pulled. My reporting indicates some other companies are reevaluating those advertising decisions. But you know what? A lot of people, a lot of companies are still posting. They're still providing free raw content for Elon Musk. And it was interesting today when the European Commission came out and said, we're advising folks not to be advertising right now. We're pushing in a different direction. What was X's response? Hey, looks like your accounts are still posting on X. So I think that is the point of tension here, among others.
So the fake news pile on continues. And I've got to give credit to David Faber of CNBC. And done so in the past as well, he was actually quite reasonable, himself stating he doesn't believe Elon Musk is anti-Semitic. Of course, the network for which he works would have you believe otherwise, despite providing no evidence to back up these claims. Now, why could any of this be happening? Why the pile-on? Here's something I found on X from some guy with 3 first names posted almost exactly 1 year ago. Those who stand to lose the most by losing their grip and control of the one true narrative are exposing themselves by the intensity of their reactions, as into Musk acquiring X/Twitter. Of course, I was obviously wrong. That's why we haven't seen the fake news who stand to lose their grip on the one true narrative, spreading lies, misinformation, falsehood, and stoking hatred toward Elon Musk. Because Elon bad. So I guess I better delete this post because I was very wrong, as always. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a fuck ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1 is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, snake oil salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, When I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links at the pinned comment, see you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.